The video that you'll be watching this time is going to be about dimensional analysis. We've been working with unit rates and ratios, and dimensional analysis is one way of using ratios and converting units of measure. First thing that you notice on your notes is there's a little table about how fast animals can run, and the three animals that we'll be working with are the squirrel, the chipmunk, and the rabbit. And the units of measure are in miles per hour. And one of the things that we're going to have to do is actually look at how many feet in a mile, and then how many feet would be in 10 miles. So if you don't know how many feet are in a mile, this information you could find in the back of your agenda book, but we'll just write it down right now. There are 5,280 feet in a mile. So if I have 10 miles, I'm just going to multiply that by 10, and so then I would have 52,800 feet in 10 miles. We're also going to put the units in a minute. How many seconds are there in a minute? Well, there's 60 seconds. So how many seconds would be in an hour? Well, that would be 60 minutes times 60 seconds, which would give us 3,660 seconds. So go ahead and fill that information in the blanks on your notes. Okay, so based on the information that we just talked about in your chart, and also about how many feet are in 10 miles and how many seconds are in an hour, we're going to try to determine the number of feet per second a squirrel can run. So in order to do this, we're going to divide the number of feet in 10 miles by the number of seconds in an hour. And you need to write this information down on your notes. So the two numbers that we'll be working with are 52,800 feet in 10 miles divided by 3,600 seconds in 1 hour. When you do that on a calculator, you're going to get a repeating decimal. We'll go ahead and round that up to 14.7 feet per second. Okay, let's continue. If you notice, I've put a chart on the back of your notes that indicates smaller units of measure with larger units of measure, and we're looking at knowing the number of inches in a foot, or ounces in a pound, or pints in a gallon, feet in a yard, feet in a mile. These are what we call unit ratios. That means the denominator is 1 unit, but we're actually thinking of converting. We're converting from 1 unit of measure to another unit of measure. If you notice in the examples that I've given you, 12 inches is 1 foot. Well, these two units of measure are equal. The 12 inches actually equals 1 foot. So they equal each other. 16 ounces is equal to 1 pound, and 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. We're going to go ahead and fill in the blanks here. You can convert one rate to an equivalent rate by multiplying by a unit rate. So we'll put unit rate in the first two blanks, or its reciprocal. It's very important that you use labels, because we are converting units of measure. So you have to have labels on your problems so that you can cross-cancel labels. So instead of cross-canceling and cross-reducing numbers this time, we're going to cross-cancel labels. Okay, so let's go ahead and try an example. We want to convert 10 feet per second to inches per second. So I'm going to set up my problem with 10 feet over 1 second. And I want to convert to inches per second. Well, I'm going to try to cross-cancel this label of feet. So I'm going to put feet on the bottom. And then how many inches are in 1 foot? Well, if you look at your table, or if you remember, 12 inches. So now my feet label will cancel out. I'm going to be left with inches per second when I multiply across, and I'm going to get 120 inches per second. All right, let's try another example. This time I have 60 miles over 1 hour. And I want to convert miles per hour to feet per hour. Well, since I'm trying to get to feet, I'm going to have to get rid of miles. So I need to put miles in the denominator so I'll be able to cross-cancel it out. So how many feet are in 1 mile? Well, 5,280 feet are in 1 mile. So now I can cross-cancel out my label of miles, and I'll be left with feet per hour. Well, when I calculate this out and I multiply 60 times 5,280, I'm going to get 316,800 feet in 1 hour. Okay, here are 3 got it problems. There's not enough room on your notes to do your got it problems, so you're going to need a blank sheet of paper. I'm going to help you a little bit here and underline what you're doing. In the first one, a gull can fly at a speed of 22 miles per hour. You're trying to find feet per hour. So this is very similar to the second example that we did. Number 2, an Amtrak train travels at 125 miles per hour. Convert to miles per minute. Okay? And then the last one, Kelly runs at a speed of 9 miles per hour. How many feet per hour is her speed? Okay? So go ahead and set these up. Remember, you're trying to cross-cancel the units this time. And you want to try to make it so that the cross-cancel, one is in the numerator, one is in the denominator, one of the labels, so that you can cross-cancel through. We'll go ahead and look at these got it problems tomorrow. Do the best you can.